In this meeting, President Trump was tearful. He was upbeat. He seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't you? He is a threat to democracy. We are literally, myself, a lot of people call him a fascist for a reason. We call him a racist for a reason. A bigot for a reason. A hateful person and a threat to democracy for a reason. Those type of people, you don't create friendships with. And at some point, it all starts to crumble. They all start to fall in line because they're scared. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see on the picture to my left, that is unacceptable to me. And I did a video talking about Ben Shapiro kind of being a little upset at Joe Biden and a lot of people like Charlamagne the God and other individuals who, you know, are turning down the rhetoric in terms of calling Trump a fascist, a racist, a bigot, destroying democracy. Like I said in that video, I understand why President Trump and other officials are not being as hard as they were, because they have to set the standard. You know what I'm saying? Despite how Joe Biden feels, he needs to be able to show the world, essentially, because the whole world is watching, that we can still be a democracy. And if Trump doesn't want to do that, I understand and respect Joe Biden doing that. But when it comes to individuals like myself or mainstream media, hey, that is not okay. You cannot all of a sudden flip pages and all of a sudden, hey, we're going to meet with Trump. We're going to try to, pass the olive branch. We're going to try to. No, either he's a direct threat to democracy. He's a racist. He's a bigot. He's a hateful scum person. He's a car salesman. He is a scammer. Either he's that or he's not. At this day and age, you can't ride the fence. That is not an option no more. You can't be like, well, he's president, so, we gotta, just, be buddies, no. Because at some point, that's going to destroy your credibility. So when you're trying to alarm people, hey, this person is not good for you. He's not good for democracy. They're not going to believe you, Joe. They're going to be like, you said that about Trump. You said that about so-and-so. You said that about this. But then when it's all said and done, you're meeting them, having cocktails, sipping lattes, acting like nothing happened. That's not how that works. That's not how you build trust with your viewers, with people who are coming to you for information like that. You know what I'm saying? But, let's go ahead and hear their excuses for, I guess, whatever they wanted to do.
Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
Okay, no, Joe, is that your name? Can I call you Joe? Joe, that does not work. It's not like we just disagreed on like minimum wage, education and the price of it, or like things that America should be arguing and trying to figure out what's best for America. No, Joe, that wasn't the issue. He is literally dividing the country by calling the other half scum and vermin, the enemy within. That is not something you just casually disagree. He wants to, use billions of dollars of taxpayer money to deport 12 million people, immigrants and illegal immigrants. No matter what their status is, no matter if they came here on legal terms, he just wants to ship them all out. Joe, that is not right. So I don't understand this whole approach. You know, you've been watching us for past 7 years talking bad about Trump, and you know, we had our disagreement. Like, no, Joe, no, you're not fooling nobody.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike.
Well, the hosts over at Morning Joe are facing quite a bit of backlash after they decided to visit Donald Trump for a delightful meal over at Mar-a-Lago following Trump's victory in the presidential election, of course. And this is after they basically spent years calling him a dangerous, dictatorial man. Now, they said that they talked about many issues, including abortion, mass deportations, and the threats of retribution against political and media opponents. And here's their explanation as to why they decided to work with Trump after years of fear-mongering about his authoritarian nature.
And before we proceed with that, it has to be some sort of standard. It has to be some sort of line when it comes to rhetoric. Okay, like I understand when you're competitive, you know what I'm saying? I played high school football, semi-pro football. I understand you're going to talk a lot of stuff. I get that. Like the Jake Paul and Tyson, you know, they talked a lot of stuff, but at the end, they hugged it out. I'm pretty sure they're going to be friends. I understand that kind of rhetoric. But when it comes to Trump and everything that he said and even tried to attempt during his first term should raise red flags at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of rhetoric has real life issues. You know, like you cannot pin group of people versus another group of people saying that the blood of America has been stained, has been tainted, has been poisoned. By who? Black folks? Hispanics? Immigrants? Like who is the poison of this country? That's not, you know, competitive, you know, banter. That's if I'm playing football and my opponents is calling me names outside of what my mama gave me, oh, we fighting. That's crossing a line. But like I said, the severity of the situation is a lot more heavier when it comes to politics and people in power, and there's millions of billions of dollars in play. Somebody's going to get the short end of that stick. This is not just a friendly, oh, I just said some things to kind of get people wild up. Like, no, leave that to the entertainers. This is politics. This is stuff that can affect generations from now. We ain't playing like that. So I don't know, maybe it's just me. I don't know.
In this meeting, President Trump was tearful. He was upbeat. He seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't you? He is a threat to democracy. We are literally, myself, a lot of people call him a fascist for a reason. We call him a racist for a reason, a bigot for a reason, a hateful person and a threat to democracy for a reason. Those type of people, you don't create friendships with. Those kind of people, you don't find a silver lining and like, maybe we can just, No. You have your people you do that with and you people you don't. Like with Destiny. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if we was to meet and talk for a couple hours, I would have a whole list of things I would disagree with him with. But at the end of the day, we probably have a lot more in common than not. So I would consider him an ally. But with Candace Owens, the only thing we probably share is our skin color. And she don't like that. So I'm not going to, you know, if we're in the same room, I'm not going to be like, hey, Miss Candace or Miss Owens, how you doing? You know, it's beautiful weather out there. No, I ain't shaking your hand. We ain't friends. And you gonna know that. Everybody in that room gonna know, hey, Jerome don't mess with Candace. Jerome ain't about that, hey, you know, we gonna be friends off camera, you know, when we're debating, you know, I'm gonna do, no. If I'm talking stuff about you on camera, best believe I'm gonna say that and even more when we off camera. You gonna know I don't like you. That's how that works, because I see you as a threat to the black community and to any community at that. Look at Australia. They don't mess with Candace for a reason. You know, so once again, these two and many like them are cowards. They're only worried about themselves, that bag, and their platform. Clicks and views. That's all they care about. Come on, man.
5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
No, Jesus Christ. You, and I figured this out the past year, okay, trying to talk to people who are Trump supporters, not like Republicans, because it's two different fractions of that group, okay? You have conservatives, Republicans that you can debate and have somewhat of a substance conversation. But Trump supporters who are like just full blown idiots, like literally stuck on stupid, like their brain is not functioning properly. Those type of individuals you cannot talk to. You have to talk at them. In any way to get whatever information you want to relate to them, you have to talk at them. You don't talk with them. You don't have a civilized conversation because they're not based in reality. They're not based on facts and statistics and history. They don't care about that. And Trump is the epitome of that. He is I don't want to say the start, but he's the poster child of idiocy. So those kind of people you don't talk with and have, you know, a cup of Joe with and just talk about the issues and, you know, like, what is your opinion? No, that doesn't work with those kind of people. You talk at them, and if they don't understand, that's it. Move on. They are quote unquote dead to me. And that's okay, because you don't need those kind of people in your life.
President-elect Donald Trump has also confirmed that this meeting did in fact take place. And in an interview with Fox News, he says many things were discussed, and I very much appreciated the fact that they wanted to have open communication. In many ways, it's too bad that it wasn't done long ago. He added that they congratulated me on running a great and flawless campaign, one for.
This is that bullshit. This is that bullshit right here. Like, I can't confirm or deny if they really said, hey, President Trump, great to see you, sir. You look amazing. You ran a flawless campaign. If they didn't say that, Trump is making them look like even more cowards. But if they did say that, they're even more cowardly than what I thought. Like, Trump is amazing at this, at manipulating the media and painting his political opponents or whoever he doesn't like as cowards. Just by this right here. But it gets worse. Oh, trust me.
For the history books, which I really believe it was, but it was also a campaign where I worked long and hard. That's what she said. Perhaps longer and harder than any presidential candidate in history. Now, according to Fox News, the president-elect also said that he has an obligation to the American public and to our country itself to be open and available to the press. Admirable thing to say.
And if he would have left it at that, it could have been like, maybe there's something going on in that old ass brain of his for him to be like, maybe he could be civilized. Just maybe. Okay, let me just try to pretend to ignore the past 5 years, 6 years, maybe, kind of, sort of. But then of course, he has to be Trump. He's always going to be Trump. If somebody is showing you who they are, believe them. After six years, believe them. Stop making excuses. Listen.
But then he continues, if not treated fairly, however, that will end. The media is very important to the long-term success of the United States of America.
That will end. So we have to kiss your ass. We have to just ignore some of the dumb shit that you're doing, like trying to erase Black history, trying to give reparations to white folks who are victims of DEI, appointing dumbasses, pedophiles into your cabinet. We're supposed to ignore that. We're supposed to ignore that you want to eradicate all the Palestinian people so you can build your hotels. You want to essentially defund Ukraine so they could just get wiped off the map by Russia. Like, we're supposed to ignore that, right? I mean, you using military against U.S. citizens. No. Let's just give you the praises. But you know what that sounds like? Do you know what that sounds like? That sounds like a dictatorship to me. That sounds like fascism to me, when they manipulate and control the media for their own benefit. Not a fair critiquing of the government and what they're doing. No, the media is supposed to reflect positively on the government. And if they don't, they get that ass whooped. I mean, doesn't that kind of sound a little fascist to you? But no. Oh, man, so many cowards, bro.
Fox and Friends also made sure to heap praise on Trump for agreeing to meet with the Morning Joe crew, calling him magnanimous. And now Mika and Joe are getting a lot of backlash, which we'll give you a little taste of in just a minute. But before you guys hear everyone else.
I mean, we don't need to hear nothing else. These two cowards right here is the reason why people don't trust mainstream media. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just feel like they're just actors, and whatever script that they're given to on a daily basis, they just have to roll with. And, you know, behind the closed doors, they feel, you know, differently, which I think statistically, looking at the polls of this last election, a lot of people put on a front. A lot of people who were out there, Trump is this, Trump is that, probably 9 times out of 10 voted for him. And if they're white, it's a really good chance, because if you look at it, like almost 90% of white folks voted for Trump. So I'm just confused on who's an ally and who's not. You know what I'm saying? But this is the reason why we can't trust mainstream media. We have to trust individuals, you know, like myself, obviously, because I know myself better than anyone else, who are not getting paid, who has no incentives to play fair with anybody. You do some dumb shit, you're going to get called out. That's how I do it over here. You do some good things. Hey, I give props when props is given. But other than that, I ain't shaking your hand. That's not how that works. And we're going to close this out with, a quote from a great philosopher, beyond my generation, you know what I'm saying? But my generation appreciates a philosopher like this, Kendrick Lamar. He said, bitch, your hormones probably switch inside your DNA. Problem is, all that sucker shit inside your DNA. Daddy probably snitched. Heritage inside your DNA. Backbone don't exist. Born again or born outside a jellyfish eye gauge. Hey. That's them right there. It's just in their DNA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really into, you know, the whole, you know, a DNA of a person makes a person either bad or good. That's beyond my pay grade, and I honestly don't care. But if something like that is true, I do believe there's bitch assness inside of people. And no matter how much they try to pretend that they're not, they're always going to revert back to the bitch assness, no matter what. And there's your proof right there. But once again, if you guys disagree or agree with anything that I said in this video, let me know in the comments down below or hit that Discord link so we can have that one-on-one talk. And like always, let's have that conversation.